The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief.
What is happening? I thought this was going to be about freaking food. I thought this was about food. God, they got to shoehorn. Do you really have to shoehorn this shit in everywhere, dude? Like, it's getting to the point to where it's like, okay. All right. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the hell we're getting into. I had a friend message me and say, "Hey, have you saw this vegetarian versus meat eater debate that Oxford University just recently had?" It had a list of 5 or 6 different people on each side. They were having a debate about what was more healthy, and one of the angles that one of the debaters took is very entertaining. So we'll see. Let's check it out and see what's going on with the woke vegan vegetarian debate. It's an interesting vegan argument. It was an Oxford debate.
To move not beyond meat, but move on with the debate, I call upon Carol Adams to conclude the side proposition.
All right. So we have
Meat.
Carol Adams.
So,
Carol Adams.
What we choose to eat has consequences far beyond the circumference of our plates. Specifically, your vote tonight expresses your allegiance to or rejection of a white supremacist patriarchal worldview. Do we vote to further
Wait. To eat meat? Even look at the people on the side. They're laughing. They're smiling. The people are laughing. Oh, no. Oh, no. We really have to go. We have to do this again. Oh, all right. Let me get me another drink for this one. Here we go.
Equality and sustain world-destroying violence? In the sexual...
What are you even talking about? How else are you going to eat? How else are you going to eat? I mean, the vegetable, even back in hunter-gatherer times, it was hunter-gatherer times. We gathered whatever we could to survive, but that was until we could get a hold of that meat. You know, and there are a lot of theories on the, in the theory of evolution where a lot of the bone marrow that we would scavenge whenever we came out into the plains had a lot of high protein in it, and it helped develop our brains a lot faster than what it would have. That's one of the theories. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've definitely read about it.
Politics of meat, I introduced...
I mean, and look at me, though. Guess what my opinion on the whole debate's going to be? You know, eat that meat. But I'm more of an omnivore. I'm not hardcore on either one of them. Like, yeah, eat some vegetables, eat some meat, you know. I'm more so about carbs. Fuck those carbs. Get rid of them. But they taste so good. What are you going to do?
Concept of animals as absent reference. In order to be eaten, animals must disappear as living beings, that is, be killed. They then disappear conceptually, as so many forms in which we eat animals' corpses are massaged by euphemistic language: hamburger, steak, pork, bacon, etc. Even the...
Because and a lot of fancy people did that throughout time because they didn't want to think about eating a cow, so they would call it steak or whatever, beef. They would call it beef, you know, like whatever, poultry, chicken. Yeah, they definitely did that. And there is something to be said because we have the capabilities to think about where our food comes from, and you do feel bad about that because we also know that we die, and we have people that die, and we don't like when people die. We don't like when our family members die, and it sucks whenever you kill something in order to eat it. But that is how it works. Now, it would be great if in the future we're able to create meat and it's just as nutritious for you as it would be coming straight out of a cow. That would be amazing, especially if it's even better for you. If we can design our own food that way, then that would be awesome. But until we get there, I'm not really believing this.
speaker just before me talked about turkeys. He's talking about dead, butchered turkeys of whom part of their bodies will be eaten. Meat eaters order leg of lamb.
I don't think she's going to be doing anybody's favor. Meat eaters order a leg of lamb. They know that's a leg of lamb. You don't think they know what they're eating? I know what I'm eating.
Not a baby lamb's leg. The animals cannot possess their own body parts. Tonight, think about how the language of our debate has or has...
Yeah, that's too much. I'm just going to go lamb leg instead of baby lamb's leg. That's too much. I don't feel like saying so much. Lamb leg. Oh, it's a baby lamb leg. Cute. Now give me here.
Not participated in the structure of the absent referent. Who disappears and why? 21st century animal eating requires our complicity in a new colonialism. We know how settler colonialism worked, an erase and replace system that forced indigenous people off the land, replacing them with cattle and white settlers.
Now they did do that.
I reckon.
But I don't think that it was all in the name of beef. I think that's what it was. I don't think that's what they were doing. I think they were just being like, oh, I'm going to take that land. I don't,
today as Indigenous Peoples Day. One of the defining aspects of the colonial legacy is an ongoing white supremacist belief system and an ownership paradigm. When you own the land, you get the title to it. Entitlement and ownership are linked. All the justification
and ownership, are we going Marxist now?
For the taking of land by white colonial authorities included the claim, well, the Indians can't prove they own the land.
I mean, it just doesn't seem like that's exactly how things worked. But I know that you have a narrative, you have a debate. She's trying to win people over, so we'll continue on.
Hunting exists within this colonial ownership paradigm. It presumes that animals don't have title to their own lives. Once dispossessed of their lives, the hunted animal can become your property.
On that point.
In a minute. Approximately 90% of Native Americans were killed off by erase and replace settler colonialism. It's the new colonialism that boasts, I'll hunt for my...
Not to mention all of the different diseases that were passed on and all of the different wars that was going on, all the different tribal battles along with the colonialists in their own little mini tribes or whatever. There's a lot, so much going on, and this is so simplified, everything. And I'm having a hard time understanding what it has to do with, like, meat not being healthy for you as opposed to vegetables. Although I guess the vegetables, I don't know. I don't know.
Self and be grateful like the Native Americans as well. Like the Native Americans, I thank the animal for their sacrifice. And I wonder, how do you...
Like the Native Americans, I thank the animals for their sacrifice. All of us pretty much do, man. We are you don't think that people are appreciative that we have food? Of course.
You know, the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse. The argument that hunting is ethical presumes that some primeval form of eating exists, unmediated by corrupting influences of society. There's no room in the new colonialism for an indigenous worldview to exist. Instead, it collapses more than 100 Native American...
An indigenous worldview, which would be what? Because indigenous people belonged to a bunch of different tribes throughout the land, and they had their own cultures within their tribes. So you're looking at a lot of different places, and a lot of these tribes that were close to the sea were very good at hunting. A lot of these tribes who were in the forest and the plains were really good at chasing those bison, which is why the American government killed all the bison, because in the war with the northern Native Americans, they had to attack their food. Like they attacked their food. They took their food out because that was their main food source. It's war. They're trying to stop their enemies. So there is definitely something to it. But I think they were trying to win a war instead of like showing that meat is great or something.
Nations into one amalgam. and attributes a static indigenous worldview that erases those nations that were predominantly vegetarian and lived in urban areas. The new colonialist
Predominantly, wait a minute, wait, what?
It's a static indigenous worldview that erases those nations that were predominantly vegetarian.
Which nations were predominantly vegetarian? Which big nations were predominantly vegetarian? You'd probably find more cannibals than you would just vegetarians. And they're probably vegetarians out of necessity as opposed to just wanting to be vegetarian on purpose.
And lived in urban areas. The new colonialists see nothing wrong with a pick-and-choose approach to indigenous thought that never engages with the survival issues indigenous peoples are facing today. 70% of the population would have to be eliminated for people to try to rely on hunting to survive. Who would live and who dies and who decides?
We're not going to depend on... We don't have to do that now. We don't have to do that now. We've made a society, and I know, society's evil, of course. But there's some good things to it, too.
As for domesticated animals, Percy Shelley pointed out just after being expelled from Oxford, the quantity of nutritious vegetable matter consumed in fattening the carcass of an ox would afford 10 times the sustenance if gathered immediately from the bosom of the earth. 200 years after Shelley, as we've heard, 1/3 of the landmass of the world is committed to animal agriculture. Entire ecosystems are disappearing. 80% of deforested acres in the Amazon were cleared for animal-based cattle grazing. And yet tonight at dinner, I saw the lions eaters send meat back from their plates. So-called free-range animals contribute more greenhouse gases, while killing them in mobile slaughterhouses requires more water than industrial
No, I could get with this part.
And leaves behind an immense amount of waste, requiring an intense amount of chemicals in the process.
And we could work on having a better system. And we could make the systems a lot better. But they're not going to be perfect. And eating meat is one of the healthiest things that you can have. I mean, there's a lot of nutrients in meat. And I eat a lot of meat. Can you tell? Can you tell?
Your meat may be organic, but your slaughtering isn't. If you eat animals, you take up more climate space, requiring more water, more land, more forest deforestation, contributing more greenhouse gases. This is felt disproportionately.
But then what? Do you want them to die? Do you want all these people to die? Because we do these things to take care of people.
By countries in the global south. Their carbon footprint is smaller, but they experience more frequent and intense climate change-caused weather events. These events especially affect girls and young women. Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny.
What the fuck? Ladies, you can never have a hamburger again. Unless you want to be a misogynist. Or I guess it's just participating in the system of misogyny and blah, 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 blah. Let's start it. Systemic.
These events especially affect girls and young women. Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny. The Western world colonized their space without sending a single beef eater. Through colonial power, the diet of beef-loving English people became normative. The food heritage of
Now, that may be true because they did bring their beef around with them. They brought horses as well. But the Europeans did bring a lot of different food sources with them as they traveled throughout the different areas.
Conquest peoples, like the land itself, was overrun. It was the colonizers, especially the British, who declared that the virility of meat-eating nations explained their success over the supposed feminine and weak rice-eating countries they defeated.
Feminine and weak.
Historically, the vast majority
Eating rice makes you feminine and weak? I didn't know that rice eating was feminine. That's very weird, British people. I didn't know that you guys thought like that.
Majority of the world lived without animal protein as a central part of their diet. The assumption that the
Well, yeah.
Historically, the vast majority of the world lived without animal protein as a central part of their diet.
They did that because they didn't have access to it.
The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief.
What is happening? I thought this was going to be about freaking food. I thought this was about food. God, they got to shoehorn. Do you really have to shoehorn this shit in everywhere, dude? Like, it's getting to the point to where it's like, okay, you're not propagandizing anybody now. You are just annoying people because you can't even have a real conversation without being like, oh, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi. Okay, we get it. God. Oh, man, all these freaking news stories are all about people being fucking Nazis these days. And I don't think Nazis have been around since the 1940s.
Erases and replaces indigenous African, Asian, Mesoamerican cultural food practices. Meat eating is also one of the ways gender-based structures of oppression are perpetuated. Men in the West are taunted to renew their man card by eating meat because that's what real men do. That's the sexual politics.
I don't know. I know a lot of women that like steak. I know a lot of women that like meat in general.
Meat, and it reveals how unsettled masculinity really is. Back home, my library card is good for 7 years, but a man card can expire between breakfast and lunch if someone eats a veggie burger. Masculine.
A man card? A man card? Don't take my man card. What is happening? What am I even why do you make me watch this? Why do you make me watch this?
A construct of the gender binary facing constant destabilization feels always under threat, and eating animals is its protection racket.
Question?
That's why after 9/11, nope. That's why after 9/11, a focus on men as heroes and on meat eating became part of the reclamation of a wounded masculinity. When a black man was elected as US president, we saw how white this wounded masculinity was. White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy. Images of milk-drinking white men, of platters groaning with meat, and the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging.
She said soy boys! Oh, no!
This is their right, the
Well, don't be a soy boy.
neo-Nazis say.
Don't be a fucking soy boy.
Are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging. Platters groaning with meat, and the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging. This is...
I call some of my friends soy boys. I mean, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Soy boy, that's an internet meme, dude. Like, that's all over the place. And by the way, it is said that whey protein is healthier for you if you're a man because soy protein does lower your testosterone. That's what it said. That's what it said. I don't know for sure. I'm not a nutritionist. I know we have to look to a point of authority, but there's so many points of authorities. Who do you really believe? I don't know. Maybe your life's lessons. Maybe shit from your real life, and then you figure it out. You pay attention to the patterns, and then you say, hey, this pattern's actually matching up with what my theory was. Interesting.
They're right, the neo-Nazis say. This is their identity.
Neo-Nazis. Neo-Nazis. The new Nazis. Where are the fucking new Nazis at? Like, I hear more people talk about them than I see about them. It's like, they got to be in West Virginia or Alabama hiding out somewhere, but, like, are they going to show up any day soon now?
Colonization rests on the unstable foundation of white men's insecurities. Look at the way people, men, in the animal industry speak of female animals.
Look at the
on
way
the unstable
look at the way
foundation
people,
of white men's
men,
insecurities.
Men. Look at the way people, men, I meant men.
Look at the way people, men, in the animal industry speak of female animals as willing and ready to be made forcibly pregnant, which female animals are powerless to resist. There'd be no meat eating without the constant forced reproduction by female animals. Yet,
what the hell is your? Oh no! Now the farmers are participating in rape. Oh man, I didn't know. Why do I have to watch this?
Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens, sexy fishes, who all...
When has anyone ever sexy cow, sexy pig, sexy fish? I have never seen no commercial talking about... The only thing that I could remotely think of is the Chick-fil-A commercials when they have a cow saying, eat more chicken. But I don't think that's sexy. What's sexy animals? I don't know. I don't know. That's a weird one. I'm sure there's probably some dumbass commercials with the pig acting sexy like a human or something. I'm sure there has to be, right? But is that a person in an advertising firm trying to get people talking about their commercial, or is that misogyny? And that's the way this works. I want a sexy pig on there so it looks like a woman, and I want my food to look like my whammon. Like, this is so fucking stupid. It don't make any fucking sense. And this is Oxford? God, man, you fucking college people. Jesus.
Just want to have fun. They want to be pregnant with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens, sexy fishes, who all just want to have fun. They want to be pregnant and they want to be killed because this feminized...
Some of them want to be pregnant.
Sexuality wants to be eaten. The only desire animals are credited with possessing is the desire to be consumed, which strangely can only be expressed after their death. Real life tells a different story. Animals try to escape from slaughterhouses or farms. When able, cows try to reclaim their calves, taken from them so their nursing material can be monetized and sold to humans.
That is sad. That is sad.
They fight and resist the fate the colonial empire claims is their welcomed destiny.
Empire.
Some meat eaters are afraid of
so the animals are fighting white supremacy too. Oh no! Even the fucking animals don't like white people. I love it, but she's a white woman. Like, you gotta love, like, the most hateful rhetoric towards white people you get is from their own kind. Of course, I guess that's the easiest way to go about it. I don't know.
Feel if they look too closely at the degradations that constitute animals' experience. Mention disabling practices or the devastating separation of cows and their babies, and we hear meat eaters exclaim, "Don't tell me." Why are they afraid of the feelings such knowledge produces? They accept a patriarchal
Oh no, I'm not afraid of it. It just is what it is. It is what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is.
Feelings as unruly and untrustworthy, causing chaos. To say you care about animals is considered a sign of weakness in a world still committed to the gender binary.
Oh, now we're going trans too. Whoa, she's hitting every single, like, woke politics type point that you can do. She even went to trans lives matter. Damn. Wow.
Values stereotyped masculine reason over stereotyped feminine feeling and wants order. And yet the reasons we hear are gender binary that values stereotyped masculine reason over stereotyped feminine feeling and wants
stereotyped masculine reason with stereotyped feminine feeling. But think of the yin and the yang, think of masculinity and femininity, and they are the yin and the yang. They are one in each other. They need each other. Men and women need each other. We have needed each other. You need masculinity and you need femininity. So,
order. And yet the reasons we hear are so irrational. If I did not eat animals, they never would be born. Meat eaters, like anti-abortionists, have forgotten that one quality of non-existence is not having awareness about existence.
Wait a minute, 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 wait the fuck a minute. So she's pro-abortion. She wants you to kill all the babies in your womb. But she don't want you killing animals. She feels bad for the animals, but she's not team people. She feels worse for animals getting killed than baby humans. And I know, whatever I'm not even against abortion, but let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. It is killing a baby. There's going to be a baby there. Why would you get an abortion if it wasn't going to be a baby? You're fucking killing a baby. Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay, sure, you're not. Got it. You're not. But it is what it is, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have the right to do that, but I am saying that that's what it is. So this fucking broad thinks that it's A-okay to kill babies, human babies, but we have to protect the cows. Protect the fucking cows.
Meat
People are
eaters
crazy.
say, why, if we put prisoners to work in slaughterhouses in England, they will be learning a skill. I did not know that killing was a skill generalizable to other jobs.
Yep, sure is.
The new
military.
colonialists boast,
Sure is. Every nation in the world has a military.
I only eat meat from locally owned farms, and I know the farmers there love their animals. If killing what one loves is standard practice, I hope they don't start loving me. What about carrots? What
Ooh,
about
she got a
carrots,
clap.
we're
She
asked,
got a
though
clap.
I've never seen a meat eater leap into the road to save a carrot from being run over by an automobile. When all else fails, meat eaters assert that animals are not our equals. One would think such an equality would require us to respond more, not less sympathetically. Meat eaters tell me it's so hard to change, and yet I watch them work even harder not to change. If you all agree that 95% of meat is from factory farmed animals and it's wrong, stop eating it.
No.
Go to your colleges and eat the vegan option, which every college at this campus offers. It's very simple. If you agree with the basic things so that we're not even debating factory farms, then act on it. So,
I do agree. Factory farms suck, but they have to exist right now because we have to take care of our people, and we don't want people starving to death.
Global outcome to be determined by people afraid to change who are going to hold on to some old conceived notion of power? Change may be hard, but not changing is harder. Tonight, you're being asked to vote on whether you accept this new colonialism or not. Our menu choices don't stay on the plate. And I heard all your laughter. I know some of these must be new ideas, or you think they're fringe.
It's not new ideas. I'm not a college person, and I've been hearing these ideas since I was in high school. I've been hearing all this horse shit. And even high school students knew that most of it was horse shit.
Or whatever. Our whiteness is part of the problem of meat eating. It really is. So your vote tonight is important, but even more important is the question of what or who will be on your plate in the morning. Sweet dreams.
What or who will be on your plate in the morning? Now, that just blew my mind. I was not expecting to do the whole thing. I wanted to do just I wanted to get like a couple of clips, but the whole fucking thing was just so fascinating to me. I cannot believe that people actually think like this, but they do. But they do. Now that was just one person from the debate, and that was her angle that she took on it, and I'm sure that they all took different angles, and I'm sure that realistically there was probably a lot of debate, a lot of like constructive debate on factory farming, veganism, the new ways that we're probably going to be getting meat. All these types of different things are going to be helping us in the future. But to break down the past like that and to make it neo-Nazi and white supremacist and all that other type of stuff, it just gets, to me, it feels like you're reaching hard, man. You're reaching hard because so many different cultures out there eat different versions of meat. I mean, you can look at chimpanzees. Chimpanzees practice cannibalism, which most of our native tribes down in the South Americas and the North Americas practice cannibalism. I mean, most versions of people practice cannibalism throughout some point in their history. So there's all these different things, and who knows, maybe we're at the precipice in the future right now. Maybe we are in the future right now, and we're going to find a better way to get our food. We're going to have a better way of doing these types of things. But for right now, those things aren't changing that fast. And you still need to be you still need to have some nutrition in your body. You still need to feel good. You still need to be able to get out there and get after it. And for me, having a hybrid dinner, having a hybrid meal, we're omnivores. So I do like vegetables and I do like meat, and I'm a little more against the carbs, but I understand completely if you don't want to eat vegetables because of how bad it is for the environment, or it is because it is killing. Because it's killing. I understand that. But it's a weird argument when you try to make it sound sexist, homophobic, transphobic, all these different things. It just gets to the point where it's like, okay, now you're not even winning anybody over. You are what you are, and we get it. But we have to have a real conversation about these types of things, and hopefully we will. I do encourage you to eat more vegetables, eat more lean meats. You can eat some beef too if you want to. It's good for you. Maybe you'll feel good.